We're now going to go to our next panel, which is going to be led by Nelly Galan, who is the first Latino president of Television Network, who built her own media production company. She now invests in the success of young Latinas. She'll be joined by Victoria Werthberg, the Washington Center for Women in Business from Lacey, Washington. We thank her for being here. She's going to talk about the importance of targeted business development services for women to address unique challenges women face in starting businesses. And Susan Sylvester of Absolute Resource Associates in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Lynn Sutton, who is with Advantage Building Contractors from Atlanta, Georgia, who will testify on women's small businesses and the challenges they face when competing for federal contracts. So welcome all of you. We're so appreciative that you are here. And so is it not?
Nelly Galan, you said
Nelly
it correctly.
Galan. Okay, all right, great. Well, Nelly,
Thank you
you're
so
up
much.
first. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman Cantwell, Ranking Member Risch, and Senator Shaheen. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm honored to testify on behalf of Latinas and on behalf of women of color around entrepreneurship. As an entrepreneur myself, I am an immigrant from Cuba. I came here when I was 5 years old. And I have started a business in media, which is 20 years old, and I am the first Latina to be president of a network. And my entrepreneurship gene began, like many immigrants, as a girl in junior high who started to sell Avon in school to help my parents pay for school. And later on, when I got into television and I was a station manager, which is a very get-down business, and I worked for a gentleman that owned the station, and I built it up from 5 employees to 200 employees for 3 years. And one day, when I walked into work, my boss said to me, "Oh, we sold the company, we sold the station." And I was so angry at him, and I questioned him, and I said, "How could you do this? Why didn't you tell me it was up for sale? I felt that it was my baby." And he said these words to me that changed my life. He said, "Young lady, those are my chips. Go get your own chips." And I was very upset, but he sparked in me something that maybe my family as immigrants couldn't do at the time. And I decided to start a business. Really, there was nothing out there for me that told me how to do that, how to go about it. And for the first 4 years of my business, I did not make one penny. You can imagine what that's like for immigrant parents that want you to get married and move on, and they're telling you to stop this entrepreneurship thing. And I really had a hard time. But my boss had said to me once in one of our meetings, "When I was your age, I started a business, and for 10 years, I didn't make money. So thank God I didn't give up, and I hung in there. And in the 4th year, I started making some money. And after that, I went through the roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship with very little help. A couple of years ago, I go on Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump. They asked me, I'd been in television for many years, and they said, "We need a Latina in there." And when I went on, as someone who has been behind the scenes building a business for so many years, I didn't realize so many Latinas, so many women of color would call me and say, "How do we do it? How did you do it? We don't know where to get the information." Still. And even though there's so many organizations out there, we still need more information. So I decided to do something about it myself. Now that I'm in a very different place financially, I thought this is something that I should take on. I've always thought the private sector should also help our communities and deal with entrepreneurship. So I founded something called the Adelante movement. And Adelante in Spanish means adelante, move forward. I like to say it's adelante, let's get going. And really, the Adelante movement is a grassroots movement that unites, educates, and supports Latinas in their journey of economic empowerment through digital content, community workshops, events, and meeting other Latinas that have already done it so they learn how to go get their own chips. Again, as someone in the private sector, I'm lucky because I was able to fund a lot of this myself, and I was blessed to come across Coca-Cola, who helped me seed this through their 5x20 global initiative to enable the economic empowerment of 5 million women by the year 2020. And I just want you to know a little bit about our Latinas. They are the fastest growing entrepreneurs in America. They control most of their households' budgets, and they are the key decision makers with regard to their children's education. They are the pillars of our community and will only grow in influence as more and more come of age each year. Latina women are expected to become 30% of the total female population in this country by 2060. I have been on the road meeting all my Latinas, and I can tell you they are all engaged completely in entrepreneurship and really are looking for more help. The Adelante movement is the beginning of that. And again, I believe in a private sector approach, and I'm willing to put up my own money and go find money from the private sector. However, I believe the federal government must also invest in Latinas' success by crafting policies that support and help to grow women-owned businesses. As such, it should reauthorize the Women's Business Center program and authorize sole source awards to women-owned small businesses to increase the number of women as federal contractors. These actions would bolster our economy and provide increased opportunities and access for women in general and Latinas in particular. Reauthorizing the Women's Business Center program, which provides counseling and training services to women business owners, is crucial to our nation's equitable success. The WBC program is the only entrepreneurial education program with specific responsibility to reach out to low-income and socially disadvantaged women. My Latinas need this information. Counseling and training is crucial, and I've seen firsthand what it can do. At Adelante training and workshops, women learn how owning their own businesses can improve not only their life, but enrich their community and the lives of their children as well. Women leave energized, informed, and with the skills and tools necessary to make their dreams a reality. However, as I just said, we can only do so much through Adelante. It takes a government that is committed to the future economic success of its citizens to invest on a larger scale in programs that will incur a positive return on investment. Increasing the level of investment in the WC program will ensure that all women, regardless of social status or income level, have access to the training, mentorship, and capital required to become job creators and influential community members. If women in general, and Latinas in particular, are given the tools to build their own path, America's best days are truly ahead. And I say, adelante.
Thank you very much for that testimony, and we'll wait till all the witnesses have given testimony and then ask questions.
Let me ask you, Ms. Galan, you talked about the role of the federal government in setting policy that can help Latina women-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges I think we have as senators is most of us on this committee have a good idea of what we would like to see that could encourage some of those policies. I think one of our challenges is building support for that in the rest of Congress. And so do you have, I know that WIP is interested in this issue. How do we get women to advocate with the Congress in support of these policies that we know are important as we are trying to encourage women-owned businesses?
Well, I think what I'm trying to do with Adelante is partner with organizations like WIP, like Count Me In, that are already there, that are already established, and trying to join forces and bring the Latinas to the table to, to advocate for some of these things, because I think we don't realize that, ever since the bad economy, Latinas were already entrepreneurs. As I said, with me, we're kind of natural entrepreneurs. But with the bad economy, a lot of our husbands have lost their jobs, and the role of the breadwinner in the family has now gone to the Latina head of household. And so these women are ready to go, but they're not really integrated in the United States system of how going and raising money through the government works at all. So I'm lucky to have found organizations like WIP and others that have helped me also, learn the system and the processes. And I'm hoping to bring these women to the table. And I agree with you that we need to be part of the table. We need to be at the table, and we need to fight to be part of the system. It's very important.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Well, I wanted to follow up on the difference. One of the changes that we're talking about from the report is just making sure we really focus on the adequate particular training to women. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Victoria, you're here representing the Women Business Centers, but I want to talk about what are the differences, because I can already hear some of the debate that we're going to have about, well, why can't SCORE just do this, and Why can't, some of the small business centers just do this? So can somebody talk about the differences between the services, or what do you think are the critical, relevant services that women businesses need?
Well, I think for starters, I'll speak for Latinas. I think we take for granted that Latinas really don't know yet the system, don't even know how to find out what is offered. It is very complicated. If you go on the websites to even go there and start from scratch, it's very difficult. And so from my point of view, I feel like one of the things I hear them say is we also need to figure out how to learn to partner with other women. We need to build bridges between women that are already further along and create mentorship programs to bring these women through the system and through what is offered, because it's very complicated.
About SCORE and its relationship to the women business centers? Nellie, no? Okay, well, I think that's all. Jean, do you have another question? Go ahead.
One of the things you mentioned, Ms. Galan, is that often women don't know that these services are available. I'm sure you hear the same thing, Victoria and Sue and Lynn. You probably have had similar experiences. So what more can be done to make sure that women have an understanding of what services are available and how we encourage them to take advantage of women business centers, of hopefully if we can pass this legislation, of the programs that will be more available as the result of that.
If I may, to be honest, we need money.
Yeah.
When you have $150,000 and you're serving 34 out of 39 counties with 2 staff people, you don't have a lot of money for marketing. You put all of your money into program services. We can't afford to go out and tell our story because we're barely paying the minimum amount to even provide services. That extra money will help us develop a marketing campaign to engage women in helping other women to grow women-owned businesses.
I'm always surprised, as someone who comes from a marketing background, that we create all these incredible programs and they're not marketed. And if they're marketed, they're not marketed to specific communities. So it's almost like we're building a machine that no one knows it's there. And so what's the point of that? We do need to market and market to specific groups in specific ways that they can hear that, and to make them feel like they're part of this country, that this is here for you. And, again, those of us in sort of private sector, it's like we've got to become the marketing arm for these projects. And we really need to do that better, I think.
And
Thank you. I'd like to add, I have utilized SCORE. My local SBA office in Atlanta, Georgia, they have workshops all of the time. They're PTAC, so I've taken advantage of it, and I actually thought that a lot of people are aware. I have WIP, we have resources, there's online, there's information. Women are empowered, we are at the table, we do know it's there. It's about where do we go from here? Okay, we're aware. What's important is that all of the hard work that you senators are doing needs to be implemented. What you have already have rolling has to be implemented, and it will solve all of our problems. I'm very much aware, everyone here is very much aware. That's why all of these women are here right now. Everyone's aware. What are we going to do with it? This has to be implemented. We talk about, you can not like, whatever it is with the sole source. You use it, don't use it, it doesn't matter. More than half of the people that have sole source authority don't even get a contract in their entire time. What's important here is that the WOSBs and the EDWSBs have the same thing the other small business programs have. We need access just like the 8A, the Veteran, and the Hub Zone.
Well
so
said.
all you,
I
yes,
agree with you.
absolutely.
We agree.
So all you WIP members, contact your senators.
Well, thank you, and that's a great place to end, and I want to make sure I thank Senator Shaheen, because she's been a real leader on this issue, and her laser focus on small business in general has been so helpful to the committee, but particularly on this sole source issue, so we thank you. We are going to put legislation together, and your testimony has been very helpful on that front. We've heard you loud and clear that you need more access, and that particularly the training, that you could do much more. Now, I am going to ask you to go away with an assignment of helping us. I think, some of the things that people have been talking about, hearing your testimony, we may be, let's just say, under, targeting the amount we need. I'd really like to know from you what amount for the women business centers and for the microloan program, not the package at 50 and 250, but the amount of money that really could go into this program and return benefits to our U.S. economy. I think upgrading it a little bit is interesting, but we're here to ask women all across America to help grow our economy. That's why we're having this hearing. And you're coming to tell us, here are the challenges that we face as we try to grow the economy. So let's put a real number to it based on these experts who are here, who've been working in the field. Give us a number that you think really represents that micro lending that we should be doing. I've said many times as the chair of this committee, I think small is the new big. By that I mean the structure of an information economy is about people who can be very expert at their given field. And the more that we empower that, the more they can innovate. And the more we innovate, the more jobs we grow in our economy. So we want to empower small businesses all across the United States, and certainly we want women to be able to have access to those resources. We want you to be able to design products. And as two female senators, I can tell you this, we definitely want more products designed and delivered for women. And we know we know that if women businesses are empowered to do so, they will design those products. And so, again, we want to thank all our witnesses today and everybody who helped participate in this great forum. It is so heartening to see so many people here and realize that you will help us lead the charge on this issue. We do expect to have legislation on all these fronts: sole source contracting, empowering women through these microloan increases in intermediate loans, also the training programs and making sure that the access to capital is there. So thank you all very, very much for a very moving afternoon. And let's, what do you call it?
Adelante.
Yeah, we're adjourned. Thank you.